Are you tired of being a leaf in the wind, pushed and pulled by every external event? The stressful day at work, an unkind comment, the endless scroll of bad news. We spend our lives building things on the outside, our careers, our homes, our relationships, but we leave the inside empty and exposed to the storm. What if you could build a fortress within yourself? A place of absolute calm and unshakable strength. A place the world could not touch. This is your inner citadel, and the Stoics will show you how to build it, stone by stone. You will learn the difference between what is yours to control and what is not. You will discover that it is not events that disturb you, but your judgment about them. We will look down upon our lives from the stars to find a profound sense of peace. You will learn to love your fate as if you had chosen it yourself, and you will build a mind so strong, so resilient, that it becomes a source of absolute serenity. You are watching the Ultimate Legacy series by Between Thoughts, where we explore timeless wisdom for a modern life. The ancient Stoic emperor, Marcus Aurelius, once wrote to himself, "People look for retreats for themselves, in the country, by the coast, or in the hills. But it is in your power to retreat into yourself whenever you choose." This retreat he spoke of is the inner citadel. It is not a physical place. It is a state of mind, a fortress built from wisdom, courage, and discipline. It is the source of our tranquility, our resilience, and our freedom. It doesn't matter what chaos is unfolding in the world around you. Inside the walls of your citadel, you are safe. You are in command. Our journey today is to become the architects of this inner fortress. And like any great structure, we must begin with the most important part, the foundation. Chapter 1. The Foundation, the Dichotomy of Control. The first and most important lesson of Stoicism was laid down by the philosopher Epictetus, a man who was born a slave but lived with the freedom of a king. He taught that in this life there are two kinds of things: those that are up to us and those that are not. What is up to us? Our thoughts, our judgments, our actions, our will. This is our kingdom. Here we are sovereign. What is not up to us? Everything else. The weather, the economy, what other people think of us, our health, our wealth, and our reputation. Even our own bodies are, to a degree, beyond our complete control. They can get sick. They can get old. The modern world promises us that we can control everything. And this promise is the root of almost all our anxiety and frustration. We exhaust ourselves trying to manage things that were never ours to manage in the first place. The Stoic, however, finds peace in this simple truth. They focus 100% of their energy on what is up to them, their own inner world, and they practice a calm, rational acceptance of everything else. Imagine an archer. She can control the quality of her bow. She can control her training, her focus, her breathing, and the exact moment she releases the arrow. This is what is up to her. But once the arrow leaves the bow, she cannot control the sudden gust of wind that might divert its path. She cannot control if the target suddenly moves. The unskilled archer will curse the wind. She will be filled with anger and frustration. But the Stoic archer will smile. She will judge her success not on whether she hit the target, for that was never entirely in her control, but on the quality of her shot, on the perfect execution of her art. This is the first stone of our citadel, to learn, in every situation, to ask ourselves, what part of this is in my control, and what part is not? And then, to have the wisdom to focus only on what is ours to do. Chapter 2, The Architect, Mastering Your Perception. If the dichotomy of control is our foundation, then our perception is the architect. It is the master designer of our inner world. The great Stoic Seneca wrote that we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. This is a profound observation. It reveals a secret to the human condition. It is not events themselves that cause us to suffer, but our judgments about those events. Think of it this way. Two people can experience the exact same event and have completely different reactions. Imagine two drivers stuck in a traffic jam. The event, a line of stationary cars, is neutral. It is just a fact. The first driver slams his fist on the steering wheel. His mind is filled with angry judgments. This is a disaster. My day is ruined. I can't believe this is happening to me. He is flooding his body with stress hormones. He is choosing to suffer. The second driver, the Stoic driver, sees the same line of cars. He recognizes that the situation is outside of his control. Instead of adding a layer of negative judgment, he chooses a different story. Well, here is some unexpected time. I can listen to that podcast I've been meaning to hear. I can practice my breathing. I can simply be still. Same event. Different perceptions. Radically different inner experiences. The architect of our citadel understands this power. This is not about pretending that painful events are good. It is about stripping them of the subjective, often catastrophic, stories we tell ourselves about them. When you receive criticism at work, the event itself is just words. The suffering comes from the judgment. This means I'm a failure. When a relationship ends, the event is the separation. The suffering comes from the judgment. This means I will be alone forever. The practical exercise here is to become a detective of your own mind. When you feel a negative emotion arise, anger, fear, anxiety, pause. Ask yourself, what is the objective event here? And what is the story or the judgment that I am adding to it? Simply seeing this separation is often enough to dissolve the pain. You are the architect. You choose the blueprints for your thoughts. Choose wisely. Chapter 3. The Watchtower. The view from above. Every strong fortress has a watchtower, a high place from which to see the surrounding landscape, to gain perspective, and to see that what seems like a major threat up close is actually small and manageable from a distance. The Stoics had a powerful meditative practice for this, often called the view from above. Marcus Aurelius, perhaps the most powerful man in the world at the time, used this exercise to humble his ego and soothe his anxieties. I invite you to try this now. Find a comfortable position. Gently close your eyes. Now, imagine your consciousness is a point of light, gently floating upwards from your body. See yourself sitting in your room. See the details of the space around you. Continue to float higher. See the building you are in, your street, your neighborhood. See the familiar patterns of your city from above. Higher still. See the shape of your country, every piece of art, every birth and every death has happened on this tiny stage. Float further out, past the moon, past the glowing red of Mars, past the giant rings of Saturn. See our entire solar system as a tiny collection of lights, all circling a single average star. Further still, into the unfathomable expanse of the Milky Way galaxy, with its hundreds of billions of stars. And our galaxy is just one of billions upon billions of galaxies. From this immense cosmic perspective, now try to locate that problem that was weighing on you today. That awkward email you have to send, that argument you had, that worry about your future. See how it shrinks. See how the heat and urgency of it dissolves into the vast, silent cold of space. This is the view from the Watchtower. It does not erase our problems, but it puts them in their proper context. It reminds us that our lives and our troubles are a brief and beautiful flicker in the grand sweep of eternity. Practice this regularly. When you feel overwhelmed, ascend your Watchtower. From up there, you will find the perspective and the peace that you seek. Chapter 4. Reinforcing the walls, practicing hardship. A fortress that has never been tested is not a fortress at all. It is just a wall. Its strength is theoretical, unproven. To build a truly resilient inner citadel, we must intentionally test its walls. The Stoics had a practice for this called premeditatio malorum, which translates to the premeditation of evils. This may sound pessimistic, but it is actually a profound tool for building psychological strength and deep gratitude. The practice is simple. You intentionally spend a few moments thinking about what could go wrong. You imagine losing the things you value. Seneca would often live as if he were poor for a few days, eating simple food, wearing his plainest clothes, sleeping on the floor. He did this not to punish himself, but to ask a powerful question. Is this the condition that I so feared? He would always find that the reality of hardship was far less terrifying than the imagined version. This practice does two remarkable things. First, it vaccinates you against misfortune. By rehearsing potential challenges in your mind, you rob them of their shock value. If you have already contemplated how you would handle losing your job, then, should that day ever come, you will not panic. You will have a plan. You will have proven to yourself that you can survive. Second, and perhaps more beautifully, it makes you incredibly grateful for what you have right now. After you have vividly imagined your life without a loved one, their presence becomes a gift. After you have contemplated living without a comfortable bed, your own bed tonight will feel like the greatest luxury. The practical exercise is to integrate this into your daily life in small ways. You can skip a meal and experience a moment of hunger. You can take a cold shower to practice enduring discomfort. You can spend a morning reflecting on how you would manage if you lost your internet connection, your car, or your home. These small, voluntary hardships reinforce the walls of your citadel. They prove to you, again and again, that your inner peace does not depend on external comfort. It depends only on you. Chapter 5. The Unbreachable Gate. Amor, Fati. Loving your fate. We have built our foundation. We have designed our thoughts. We have ascended the Watchtower and reinforced the walls. Now, we come to the most advanced and most powerful aspect of our citadel, the unbreachable gate. This gate is a principle known as Amor Fati, a Latin phrase that means a love of one's fate. It is one thing to accept what happens. It is another thing entirely to love it. Amor Fati is the practice of not just enduring your life, but embracing every single moment of it as if you had willed it to happen yourself. Not just the good moments, every moment. The painful breakup, the failed project, the unexpected illness, the traffic jam. The Stoic who practices Amor Fati sees everything as an opportunity. An obstacle is not a roadblock. It is a chance to practice courage. A betrayal is not a tragedy. It is a chance to practice forgiveness. An insult is not an injury. It is a chance to practice patience and self-control. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." He compared this to a fire. A great fire is not extinguished by the things you throw into it. Instead, it consumes them and uses them as fuel to burn even brighter. This is the mindset of Amor Fati. Your challenges are your fuel. Everything that happens, no matter how it appears, is a gift. It is exactly what you need to grow stronger, wiser, and more virtuous. The practical exercise here is a shift in language and perspective. When something challenging occurs, instead of thinking, "Why is this happening to me?" try asking, "Why is this happening for me?" This difficult project at work is happening for me to practice diligence. This long line at the store is happening for me to practice patience. This is the unbreachable gate. Because if you can truly love everything that happens, then nothing can harm you. The world can throw anything it wants at your citadel, and you will simply open the gate, welcome it in, and use it as fuel for your fire. At that point, you are truly free. Chapter 6. Daily Maintenance, the Stoics' Journal. A fortress, no matter how strong, requires daily maintenance. The walls must be inspected. The gate must be oiled. The watchtower must be manned. For the Stoic, this daily maintenance is the practice of journaling. A Stoic journal is not a diary for gossip or complaints. It is a tool for self-examination, reflection, and continuous improvement. It is the training ground for your mind. The practice can be broken into two parts: morning preparation and evening review. In the morning, the Stoic prepares for the day ahead. They might write about the challenges they expect to face. Marcus Aurelius would begin his day by reminding himself that he would meet with meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, and envious people. But he would also remind himself that these people are only this way because they don't know the difference between good and evil, and that he should not let their ignorance disturb his own inner peace. You can use the morning to set your intention. What virtues do you want to practice today? Courage, patience, justice, wisdom. Plan how you will respond to challenges before they arise. In the evening, the Stoic reviews the day that has passed. This is done without harsh self-judgment, but with the calm, objective eye of a philosopher. Seneca recommended asking oneself 3 questions. What did I do wrong today? What did I do right? What duty was left undone? You are a doctor examining a patient. The patient is your own character. Where did you act in accordance with your values? Where did you fall short? What lessons can you learn for tomorrow? This daily practice is the cement that holds the stones of your citadel together. It keeps your principles top of mind. It allows you to learn from your mistakes. And it provides a quiet, reflective space to converse with the most important person in your life, yourself. You don't need a fancy notebook. You just need a few minutes, a piece of paper, and the courage to look honestly at your own day. This is the work. This is the path. Chapter 7. The Stoic in the Arena. Applying wisdom at work. Now that we have built the walls of our citadel, we must learn how to live within it, not as recluses, but as active participants in the world. The Stoics were not hermits. They were generals, senators, merchants, and artists. They lived and worked in the messy, chaotic heart of society. The workplace, for many of us, is our modern arena. It is a place of pressure, ambition, conflict, and opportunity. A perfect training ground for our philosophy. Let us begin with a common challenge. The difficult colleague or boss. We have all experienced this. The person who is demanding, unfair, or simply unpleasant. Our immediate, untrained reaction is often anger, resentment, and frustration. But what does the Stoic do? First, they return to the foundation, the dichotomy of control. The actions and words of your boss are not in your control. Their personality, their mood, their decisions, all external to you. Wasting energy wishing they were different is the definition of insanity. What is in your control? Your response, your professionalism, your own emotional state. You can choose to perform your duties to the best of your ability. You can choose to remain calm and rational in your interactions. Your excellence is your own. Do not let their behavior compromise it. Second, they apply the wisdom of the architect, mastering perception. Your boss is not terrible. That is a judgment, a story you are adding to the facts. The fact is, they sent a curt email. The fact is, they rejected your proposal. The story is, they don't respect me. They are trying to undermine me. The Stoic works to strip away that story. As Marcus Aurelius reminded himself each morning, people will be meddling and ungrateful. This is not a personal attack. It is a display of their own ignorance about what is good and evil. See their difficult behavior not as a malicious act against you, but as a reflection of their own inner turmoil. This perception fosters empathy, or at least detachment, rather than anger. Consider the pressure of a deadline or a high-stakes project. The anxiety we feel is not caused by the project itself. The project is just a collection of tasks. The anxiety comes from our attachment to the outcome, an outcome that is never fully in our control. We can control our effort, our planning, and our execution. We cannot control a sudden change in the market, a technical failure, or a client's change of heart. The Stoic professional, like the Stoic archer, focuses entirely on the quality of their shot. They pour their energy into the work itself, into the process. They find satisfaction in a job well done, regardless of the eventual praise or reward. This is the Stoic concept of duty. Your duty is to play your part to the best of your ability. The results belong to fate. By detaching from the outcome and focusing on virtuous action, the pressure evaporates, replaced by a calm sense of purpose. The practical exercise in the arena of work is this. The next time you feel stress or anger rising due to an external event, a critical email, a looming deadline, a colleague's comment, pause, take one breath, and ask yourself the 3 Stoic questions. 1. What part of this is in my control, and what is not? 2. What is the objective fact here, and what is the negative story I am adding? 3. What virtue can this situation help me practice? Patience? Courage? Professionalism? By making this pause a habit, you cease to be a reactive employee and become a Stoic professional, a calm, resilient, and effective leader. Chapter 8. The Stoic Heart, Navigating Relationships with Virtue. Philosophy is not a cold, abstract discipline. For the Stoics, it was a deeply human pursuit, and nowhere is our humanity more tested than in our relationships. Love, friendship, family, and loss are the fires in which our character is forged. The inner citadel is not meant to wall us off from others. It is meant to give us a secure base from which to love more bravely and wisely. Let us explore love. The common view of love is one of possession, attachment, and dependency. My happiness depends on this other person. This view is the source of immense suffering, jealousy, fear of loss, and heartbreak. The Stoic view is different. Stoic love is based on virtue, appreciation, and shared growth, not on need. The Stoic loves another person for their character, their virtues, their views, and the beauty of their soul. They appreciate their presence as a wonderful gift, but they practice the wisdom of the fourth chapter, practicing hardship. They gently remind themselves that this person, like all things in life, break time is not theirs to keep forever. Life is a loan from fortune. Life is a loan from fortune. This is a beautiful one. It makes every moment shared more precious. It encourages you to love purely and appreciate fully, right now, without the clinging fear of a future without them. It allows you to love someone without making them responsible for your happiness. Your happiness comes from your citadel. What about friendship? For the Stoics, friendship was one of the highest goods, but they chose their friends carefully, based on character. A true friend, said Seneca, is another version of yourself. A Stoic friend is not someone you use for entertainment or personal gain. It is someone who makes you a better person and whom you make better in return. They are a partner in the pursuit of wisdom and virtue. In your friendships, practice the Stoic virtues. Be just. Treat your friends fairly and with integrity. Be courageous. Have the difficult conversations that are necessary for growth. Be temperate. Moderate your demands on them. And be wise. Offer counsel that is honest and aimed at their true well-being. And what of loss? The end of a relationship or the death of a loved one is perhaps the greatest test of our citadel. The Stoic does not pretend not to feel grief. They are human. They will feel sorrow, but they do not despair. They return to their foundational principles. They accept what has happened as the will of nature, something outside their control. They apply Amor, Fati, seeing the immense gift of the time they did have, rather than focusing only on the pain of its ending. The practical exercise for the Stoic heart is one of appreciation. Tonight, think of one person you love, a partner, a friend, a family member. Instead of thinking about what they do for you, focus on their character. What virtues do you admire in them? Their kindness, their resilience, their humor? Then, gently practice premeditatio malorum. Imagine, just for a moment, that they were not in your life. Feel the space they would leave. Then, let that feeling transform into profound gratitude for the fact that they are here, now. This practice cultivates a love free from fear, a love rooted in appreciation, not attachment. Chapter 9, The Digital Stoic, Finding Tranquility in a Connected World. The Stoics of ancient Rome faced plagues, wars, and political intrigue. We face these things too, but we also face a challenge they could never have imagined: a 24-hour-a-day global network designed to capture our attention, provoke our emotions, and sell us dissatisfaction. The internet, and social media in particular, is a direct assault on the inner citadel. A modern Stoic must learn to be a digital Stoic. Consider the core mechanism of social media: comparison. You scroll through a curated feed of other people's successes, vacations, and perfect families. The untrained mind immediately begins to judge, compare, and despair. My life is not that exciting. I am not as successful. This is a self-inflicted wound. The Stoic sees this for what it is. First, they apply the dichotomy of control. The lives and posts of others are external to you, completely outside your control. More importantly, the curated images they present are not even reality. You are comparing your real life to someone else's highlight reel. The digital Stoic refuses to play this game. They understand that the only valid comparison is with who you were yesterday. Second, the digital Stoic masters their perception. They see a post not as a reflection of reality, but as information. They understand the algorithm is designed to provoke envy, outrage, or desire, the very passions the Stoics warned against. They consciously choose not to consent to these impressions. When they feel the sting of envy, they recognize it, label it as an irrational judgment based on incomplete information, and let it go. What about the constant stream of news, alerts, and notifications? This digital noise is designed to make us feel like we must be constantly informed, constantly reactive. It shatters our peace and pulls our attention away from what is truly important. The Stoic applies the virtue of temperance, or moderation. They practice digital minimalism. They turn off non-essential notifications. They set specific, limited times for checking news and social media. They understand that most breaking news is irrelevant to their life and their practice of virtue. The practical exercise of the digital Stoic is to perform an attention audit. For one day, be mindful of where your digital attention goes. 1. How many times did you unlock your phone with no clear purpose? 2. Which apps left you feeling worse than when you opened them? 3. How much time was spent consuming information that you did not consciously choose to seek out? Based on this audit, Take one concrete action. Turn off notifications for one app. Delete one app that consistently brings you negativity. Schedule 30 minutes of deep work with your phone in another room. This is the modern equivalent of Seneca taking simple meals. It is a small, voluntary hardship that reinforces your control over your most valuable resource, your attention. By consciously curating your digital environment, you protect the gates of your inner citadel from the noise of the modern world. Chapter 10, The Complete Blueprint, Your Daily Stoic Practice. We have explored the great principles of Stoicism. We have learned how to build our citadel and how to apply this wisdom in work, love, and our digital lives. But philosophy is not something to be merely understood. It is something to be lived. The final step is to integrate these lessons into a coherent daily blueprint for a tranquil life. This is your practical guide to living like a Stoic, from the moment you wake until the moment you sleep. The morning. Preparation. 5 minutes. Your day begins before you look at your phone. It begins with a moment of quiet reflection. As you wake, practice the view from above. See yourself waking on this tiny planet in the vastness of space. Remember that the day ahead is a gift, a brief moment in time. Then, open your journal. As we discussed in Chapter 6, prepare for the day. Write down one virtue you wish to embody today: patience, courage, kindness. Then, perform premeditatio malorum. Think about the challenges you are likely to face: a difficult meeting, a frustrating commute, a challenging conversation. Mentally rehearse responding to these events with virtue and calm. As Seneca said, the man who has anticipated the coming of troubles takes away their power when they arrive. You are preparing your mind for the day's arena. During the day, practice in action. This is where your training is tested. Your daily life is your gymnasium. At work, when pressure mounts, anchor yourself with the dichotomy of control. Focus only on the task in front of you, on performing your duty with excellence. Let the outcome go. In conversation, when you feel the urge to argue or judge, practice mastering your perception. Listen without forming an immediate story. When you feel overwhelmed by your to-do list, take a 60-second view from above meditation. When you find yourself complaining about a minor inconvenience, a long line, bad weather, practice Amor, Fati. Smile. This is your chance to practice patience. This moment is happening for you. Throughout the day, your guiding question should always be, am I using this moment to practice virtue? Am I acting in accordance with my best self? The evening. Reflection 5 minutes. Before sleep, turn off your screens and open your journal one last time. This is your moment of honest self-assessment. As Epictetus urged, do not let sleep enter your eyes until you have reviewed your day's actions. Ask yourself the 3 questions from Seneca. 1. What did I do wrong today? Where did I let my passions rule me? Where did I fail to act with virtue? 2. What did I do right? Where did I successfully apply my principles? Acknowledge your progress. 3. What duty was left undone? What can I learn and carry forward into tomorrow? This is not an exercise in self-criticism. It is a calm, objective review. You are an engineer examining a design, looking for ways to improve it tomorrow. This practice ensures that every day, no matter how it unfolded, becomes a lesson. Every day, you lay another stone in the wall of your citadel, making it stronger than it was the day before. This blueprint, preparation, practice, and reflection is the engine of Stoic growth. It is simple, but not easy. It requires discipline, but by following it, you transform philosophy from a collection of interesting ideas into the operating system of your life. Conclusion: the symphony of a Stoic life. The inner citadel is not built in a day. Deliberating, it is a lifelong project. Daily practice of laying one stone, and then another, and then another, and then another. We have explored the blueprints of this fortress. We have examined its foundations, its walls, its watchtowers. But a collection of stones is not yet a home. A collection of principles is not yet a philosophy. It is in the weaving together, the harmony of the ideas and principles, that the true strength and beauty of Stoicism is revealed. Think of it not just as a citadel, but as a symphony, the symphony of a well-lived life. The foundational rhythm, the quiet, ever-present beat that grounds the entire composition, is the dichotomy of control. It is the first lesson and the last, the gentle, constant reminder of what is yours and what is not. In every moment of chaos, you can return to this rhythm. Is this my instrument to play? Or is it merely the sound of the wind outside the concert hall? This understanding is the silence from which all true music is born. It is the steady hand of the conductor. Upon this rhythm, we introduce the melody. The melody is our perception. It is the story we tell, the interpretation we give to the notes of reality. The same sequence of notes, an unexpected event, a loss, a challenge, can be played as a tragedy, full of sharp, dissonant chords of anger and despair. Or the Stoic artist can choose to play it as a heroic theme, a melody of resilience and opportunity. Remember, the notes themselves are neutral. The traffic jam, the criticism, the storm, they are neither beautiful nor ugly. It is the architect of our perception who arranges them into music, who decides whether to create a melody of suffering or a melody of strength. But a symphony requires practice, daily, disciplined, intentional practice. This is the role of the Stoics' journal and the practice of voluntary hardship. The journal is our rehearsal room. It is where we review the score of our day, note where we played out of tune, where our passions overwhelmed our reason. It is where we prepare for the next performance, anticipating the difficult passages and planning how to play them with virtue. Practicing hardship, in turn, is like strengthening our fingers, improving our lung capacity. By taking a cold shower, by fasting for a meal, we are not punishing ourselves. We are training ourselves, ensuring that when the symphony demands a difficult passage, we have the strength and discipline to play it with grace. And then, there are moments when the music becomes so overwhelming, the sound so loud, that we lose our place. We are lost in the immediacy of our own small section. This is when we ascend to the balcony, to the highest seat in the hall, and take the view from above. From there, we see the entire orchestra. We see our own life, our own problems, as just one small instrument in a vast, cosmic performance. We hear the symphony not just of our own life, but of all life, stretching back into the mists of time and forward into eternity. From this watchtower, our frantic, urgent solo shrinks into its proper context. The missed note of today is not a catastrophe. It is a tiny, fleeting moment in a grand, beautiful, and unending composition. This perspective does not negate our problems, but it quiets them, allowing us to return to our instrument with a renewed sense of peace and purpose. Finally, we arrive at the ultimate expression of the Stoic maestro, Amor Fati. This is not just playing the notes you are given. This is falling in love with the entire score exactly as it is written. It is the ability to hear a dissonant, painful chord, and instead of wincing, to understand that it is precisely that chord that gives the following harmony its breathtaking beauty. It is to embrace every part of your life, the triumphs and the tragedies, the joys and the sorrows, and to say, yes, this is my symphony, and I would not change a single note. Break time silence, where the Stoic no longer resists reality, but dances with it, finding fuel in the fire, finding the way in the obstacle. It is the moment the musician merges with the music, and all that is left is the performance, unfolding perfectly in the present moment. Break time 4-5 seconds. This is how the principles lock together. The chosen melody of perception, the daily discipline of practice, the grand perspective from the Watchtower, and the ultimate, loving embrace of the entire score. This is not just a fortress for defense. Break time 2.5. This is a framework for creating a beautiful life. This is the final movement, where the Stoic no longer resists reality, but dances with it, finding fuel in the fire, finding the way in the obstacle. It is the moment the musician merges with the music, and all that is left is the performance, unfolding perfectly in the present moment. This is how the principles lock together. The steady rhythm of control, the chosen melody of perception, the daily discipline of practice, the grand perspective from the Watchtower, and the ultimate, loving embrace of the entire score. This is not just a fortress for defense. This is a framework for creating a beautiful life. But this raises a question. Is the Citadel a place to hide? Is the Stoic life a cold, gray, unfeeling existence locked away inside a fortress of logic? The answer is a profound no. The purpose of building an unshakable fortress is not to hide from the world, but to engage with it more fully and more bravely than ever before. This brings us to the true purpose of our work. Once the Citadel is built, once its walls are secure, the Stoic does not lock the gate and retire. Instead, for the first time, they have the security to open the gate and begin cultivating a garden outside the walls. This garden is your life in the world. It is your relationships, your work, your contribution to society. What the Stoics called the cosmopolis, the universal city of all humankind. Before the Citadel was built, tending this garden was a fearful activity. A single storm of criticism could wash away your confidence. A drought of affection could cause you to wither. The pests of injustice and unkindness could destroy your work. We act out of fear, out of neediness, out of a desire for validation. But the Stoic, who has a secure fortress to retreat to, can tend their garden with a completely different spirit. They can act with courage because they are not afraid of failure. They can act with kindness because they do not need anything from anyone in return. They can act with justice because their security does not depend on the approval of others. The Citadel is the source of the strength needed to cultivate the garden. This is where the 4 cardinal virtues of Stoicism come to life. Wisdom is the knowledge of how to tend the garden. What is a weed and what is a flower? Temperance is the ability to use just the right amount of water. Not too much, not too little. Justice is ensuring the garden is fair and harmonious, giving each plant what it needs to flourish. And courage is the strength to pull the weeds, to face the storms, and to continue planting day after day, no matter the conditions. So you see, the goal is not the Citadel itself. The Citadel is the necessary foundation. The goal is the garden. The goal is a life of virtuous, compassionate, and courageous action in the world. You build the fortress so you can be a better friend, a better partner, a better parent, a better leader, a better human being. You build inner peace so you can bring outer peace to your corner of the world. And so, we bring our journey back to you, here, now. This path is not a distant philosophical ideal. It is a moment-to-moment practice. It is the choice, in this very second, to return to your breath, to notice the stories your mind is telling, to ask yourself what is truly yours to control. There will be days you forget. There will be days your emotions overwhelm you. There will be days the walls of your citadel seem to crumble. This is part of the journey. The goal is not perfection, but progress. The goal is simply to return to the practice, again and again, to lay one more stone. The symphony of your life is still being written. You are the conductor, the composer, and the musician. You have the score in your hands. You have the training. All that is left is the daily practice of bringing this beautiful music to life. Retreat into yourself whenever you choose. Your sanctuary is, and always has been, waiting for you. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the heart of Stoic philosophy. The journey to build an inner citadel is a personal one, and your willingness to walk this path is a testament to your own inner strength. If this exploration has resonated with you, we invite you to become a part of our community here at Between Thoughts. This is the Ultimate Legacy series, where we will continue to explore the world's most powerful ideas for living a deep, meaningful, and tranquil life. Click the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next journey. We believe that wisdom grows when it is shared. So please, share your own journey in the comments below. What was the most impactful lesson for you? What small step will you take today to begin building your citadel? Reading and learning from each other is how we all grow stronger. And finally, if you found value in this, consider sharing this video with someone who might need to hear its message. Thank you again for your time and your attention. Stay curious, stay reflective, and we will see you in the next chapter.